So
Oh,
let's jump into the rumors and innuendos first. So, oh, thank you, Mantis.
Cheers, boys. I'm shwasted.
Hey, man. Well, be careful. I hope you're at home, and appreciate you stopping by and dropping the bits, man. Always appreciate that. Um, let's do some rumors and innuendos, and we'll get into the SmackDown talk here in a few minutes. Of course, the big news that came out of this week was Eric Bischoff getting fired. He was let go this past week. Not really sure the full details on why he was fired, but
man, if it was for the ratings, and Bruce Pritchard's fired next, right?
right, exactly. To kind of go over what here on these wrestling news sites, this is according to the Observer, everyone's favorite Dave Meltzer. He reported noted that on the Wrestling Observer newsletter that there were just as many surprise at the hiring of Bischoff as there were about his firing. Even Jim Ross even commented on his podcast that he didn't expect something like this to happen so soon. According to news coming from behind the scenes, according to Meltzer, is claiming that Bischoff was not familiar with any of the new talent and was very out of touch with WWE's current product. Eric had absolutely no vision, and once we were headed into Fox, everything was falling through the cracks, a WWE official told Meltzer. He messed up multiple times with Fox. Eric also had no stamina for the rigors of the job. The Observer also reports that creative meetings were starting hours late and sometimes lasting until 3 a.m. and later. Insiders are saying that it was very common to not be able to reach Bischoff after 7 p.m. on any given day. So we got some comments from both Bruce Pritchard and Vince Russo. Bruce Pritchard said, here's what Pritchard said, courtesy of 411 Mania. And again, I don't know how a legit source 411 Mania is, but I guess they're legit if you want to, because he talked to them. He says, I think he's one of the nicest guy, and he is also a human being. So when you sit there and you make comments through a keyboard or through your phone, and it's a faceless, just random thing, remember that you're making comments about a human being, and you're making comments about real people that have families. And real people that, yes, were in the public eye, and I get that, and to a certain point, say and do whatever the hell is what you want to do. Also remember that it's real life, and that we are human, and that we do have families, and believe it or not, we have feelings. And I know that Eric will succeed. This is like he ain't dead, but I just want to publicly wish Eric Bischoff the absolute best in the business life and everything else, because he's a good friend, and I'm proud and happy to say that he's my friend. So there you go. Now Vince Russo was recently a guest on Conan's podcast.
You gotta start with a bro when you do his.
All right, bro. Russo was recently on Conan's podcast, in which he commented on Eric Bischoff being released by the WWE and SmackDown losing nearly 1 million viewers in 1 week. Let me make it simple. Karma is a bitch, bro. These are guys, Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff, to this minute are still burying me on their podcast, bro. These guys just lost 1 million viewers in 1 week, and you're burying me? Seriously, bro? Losing 1 million viewers is unheard of. Like, unheard of, bro. He's really saying these bros. I'm not adding these. AEW is a new company. AEW is a brand new company. WWE is a brand that has been around for 5 decades, bro. And that's the problem, man. They still think that they can get over on their brand, bro. Way too many bros. All right.
Bro!
What are your thoughts on Eric Bischoff getting fired? I've heard nothing but kind of negative comments about him, saying that he wasn't, like you said, like we read, he wasn't really informed on what was going on. I even read that Bruce Pritchard was kind of already handling things already on SmackDown Live, and that kind of Eric Bischoff wasn't really in the mix starting, a couple of last week. Were you? I was shocked to see him fired, but kind of seeing what we're seeing now, I'm not shocked anymore. What about you? What do you think about Bischoff getting fired?
Well, Bischoff, I mean, it was surprising because I remember seeing some of the messages like, hey, I'm here in Connecticut, here's my view. And, when they did I think the Madison Square Garden thing, I'm here at the Garden, I'm doing this and that. It was surprising, but not surprising really because, look, Pritchard knows all about working for Vince McMahon behind the scenes and doing all those late night. We've heard stories on the Pritchard Pies of getting called at 3 o'clock in the morning about doing something.
Yeah.
And this is Bischoff's first time working with Vince as part of Team Creative. Before, he was just the talent. So it's not like Bischoff has ever worked with Vince behind the scenes, like creative meetings and putting together a show. Which he did it for WCW, great, fine, that's completely different, because that was running terribly. But it's completely different when you're not a talent. And then you're doing the stuff behind the scenes. I don't know what behind the scenes are, but Bruce knows better than anybody. He knows how Vince thinks and knows what he wants. So Bruce is whatever the ratings said last night for the show, I still thought SmackDown was a better show. And people are forgetting they were up against baseball, who hit over 7 million views last night at one time.
You forget that, look, SmackDown on a Friday night, for one, it's a tough night to be on regardless. It's Friday nights, not a lot of people are staying in these days. And again, like I've said many times on Twitter, ratings are not going to change your mind if a show is good or not. If SmackDown got a 1.9, it's not going to make you change your mind and say, oh man, SmackDown was a bad show. If it's a good show, it's a good show. If it's a bad show, it's a bad show. It's all opinion based. Ratings honestly don't really matter. But yes, they were up against the Houston Astros and the New York Yankees. Two of the most popular teams in the MLB right now, and two really good teams. People are going to watch that match, especially what's at stake, and it's the playoffs. Yeah, they're in a rough spot at the moment, especially being on Friday nights. So, regardless, it was still a good show, like you said. But what about Bischoff? Do you feel like this is the end deal for Bischoff? Do you think we will no longer see Bischoff again doing creative or working for another wrestling company again?
Oh, well, if you say you think Bischoff should be at AEW, then Brian Alvarez is going to block you on Twitter. I mean, Brian and Dave, man, they're already freaking out about Bischoff being on the cruise. They're already freaking out.
Imagine if he did get picked up by AEW and Meltzer had to say positive things about Eric Bischoff. That would be insane. That would be only thing that matters is stock value for WWE. Exactly, and it's exactly, absolutely. And ratings are not. I'm pretty sure they're not shaking in their boots quite yet about ratings on SmackDown.
I was talking to Marion earlier on Twitter. We were talking about it's more about the WWE winning the demos. Even if the ratings aren't the greatest, and if they're winning the 18 to 55 or whatever it is demographics, and they were doing really good in those demos between the 8 to 10 time slots. So I mean, they're still winning and doing really good in that demographic. So that's what counts. But we're not talking about ratings and demographics right now. But still, yes, he could end up in another company, obviously, or maybe he doesn't want to do it. Because what they were reading, you can't reach Bischoff after 7 p.m. because he probably turned everything off.
He's like, fuck, man, I need a break. Leave me the fuck alone. That's probably what he's really saying. But let me remove this Impact stuff. There we go.
So you're gonna ask me about Russo?
I mean, if you want to touch on him, bro, it's all up to you. What's up, No Boy? How you doing tonight, brother?
He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He doesn't even, I just said, Russo's all bro, they're terrible. They're losing all these viewers in a week. That's unheard of, bro. I mean, yeah, did you look at what else is on? You stupid dumbass. I mean, why does anyone have you on a podcast? Matt Kuhn basically quit doing a podcast with you. Or you quit or whatever it was. No one cares. No one watches you. No one.
Maybe Bischoff will end up at Walmart. I don't think he's not that bad of a situation where he'll be working at a Walmart. You still forget he does have the Bischoff podcast, which is very popular. It's a good podcast. If you like to listen to old WCW stories, it's a good podcast. I'm not going to dog his podcast because I actually enjoy it.
Yeah, he also has Patreon, so you can listen to that too.
Right. I'm actually was a little bit shocked to read that he was fired.
Yeah, it was surprising that he got fired so quickly, and now Bruce Pritchard's the guy, so it's like, okay. But when you hear the stories are true that he was having trouble, like, with all that stuff, I mean, I feel bad, but I'm not surprised because he doesn't know any of the talent because maybe he doesn't watch, and we kind of know Bruce Pritchard's been back with the WE for a little bit. To be fair, it's not really that fair because Bruce knows what's going on because he's actually there. He's been there for a little bit working with Vince already. So,
breaking news: AC Romero has signed with Impact and will make his debut tomorrow. That's that big dude that was wrestling before we came on the show. I guess he might be in the. Is he going to be in the X Division match? Is he going to be the? Is he going to be the?
No weight limits.
The surprise entrant into the X Division match. What the fuck? Fuck that fat fuck. Wow. Okay. All right. So there we go. All right. So let's move on to. He's gonna be in it. All right. So it makes sense. All right. So let's get over to SmackDown Live, or SmackDown, excuse me, on Fox. I should say. That is the legit title of it. SmackDown on Fox. I'm not gonna go over everything that happened on the show. I want to go over 3, I guess, main parts of the show. We did get a new number 1 contender for the Bayley's Women's Championship, which will be, I don't know when they're going to do that match. I'm maybe assuming after Crown Jewel, since everybody's going to be in Saudi. I'm not sure. I know last night someone put in the chat room that they may have them fly out that day and come back and do a SmackDown, which that would be pretty brutal. I hope they wouldn't go that route, but you never know. It is the WWE, and not everybody. I'm not sure if everybody's making the trip. It looks like all the big time names are. So I know a lot of people were saying maybe we get a women's SmackDown, possibly. But man, if they do that, that would be I'm sure that would be rough on the wrestlers. But that's what they signed up to do.